Reddit, the crawl space between us. Hey Reddit, I'm posting this from a burner account because if he finds my real one, he'll know I'm on to him. I just need to get this out there. Maybe I need validation. Maybe I just need someone to tell me I'm being paranoid. 6 months ago, I graduated and landed my first real corporate job as a junior asset surveyor for a commercial real estate firm downtown. High-rise buildings, concrete parking structures, sterile glass offices. That was my day. My nights, however, belonged to the suburbs. Because my salary couldn't cover a downtown condo, I rented the ground floor unit of an old, converted colonial estate about 40 minutes outside the city. It was a beautiful, decaying piece of Western architecture from the late 1920s. Heavy oak doors, a wraparound porch, and a backyard that faded into acres of protected, unlit pine woods. The nearest neighbor was a quarter-mile down a gravel road. The landlord was 87 and lived in a specialized care facility 2 states away. It felt like a sanctuary. It felt like absolute privacy. I was lonely. When you're 24, working 50 hours a week and eating microwave dinners alone, you turn to apps. I downloaded Tinder looking for nothing more than a distraction, a human voice. That's how I found Julian. His profile was remarkably sophisticated. No shirtless gym selfies, no blurry club photos. Just 3 well-lit pictures of a man with sharp, intellectual features, wearing wire-rimmed glasses and linen shirts, standing in front of brutalist concrete buildings. His bio read, "Architectural analyst. I appreciate the structures that hold society together. Let's talk about history over a glass of Pinot." Our first date was at an upscale, dimly lit wine bar in the financial district. He was even more articulate in person. He spoke with a quiet, hypnotic cadence that completely neutralized my usual social anxiety. But looking back now, with the benefit of hindsight that I paid for with my sanity, the red flags were flashing like neon signs. The first red flag was his obsession with boundaries, or rather, his subtle way of mapping mine. An old colonial in the greenbelt, he asked, his eyes reflecting the amber candlelight of the bar. He hadn't touched his wine, he just swirled it watching me. Those structures are fascinating. Balloon frame construction or standard platform? I don't know, I laughed, a bit tipsy. It's just old and big. It gets pretty dark at night. And you're there all by yourself. He leaned in, his voice dropping an octave. No roommates to leave the kitchen light on. No boyfriend checking in. No big dog in the yard. Just me, I said. I thought he was being protective. I thought he was playing the role of the chivalrous, concerned gentleman. The property manager doesn't even come by. I have the whole ground floor to myself. Julian smiled. It was a small, perfectly symmetrical smile that didn't reach his eyes. Fascinating. A young woman completely untethered. No roots, no eyes on you. That's a very rare kind of freedom, Elle. The second red flag happened at the end of that date. I told him I was going to call an Uber. He insisted on driving me. When I firmly refused, adhering to the standard safety rules every girl knows, his demeanor changed for a fraction of a second. The intellectual charm vanished. His jaw tightened so hard I could hear the bone click. "The city is full of predators, Elle," he said, his voice completely flat. "Trusting a stranger in an Uber is statistically less safe than trusting a man who bought you dinner." I stayed firm. My Uber arrived, a dark blue SUV. I got in feeling a wave of relief. As the driver pulled away from the curb, looked out the rear window. Julian wasn't walking to the subway. He wasn't looking for his car. He was standing directly under the buzzing yellow street lamp, completely motionless. He had a small black leather notebook in his hands. He was looking at my Uber's license plate and he was writing it down. 5 minutes into the ride, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Julian. License plate 7XQA82, Toyota RAV4. Driver name Marcus. Just making sure my brilliant architect stays safe. Get home soon. I cheered up slightly, but my exhausted brain rationalized it. He's just hyper-vigilant, I told myself. He's just an overprotective tech guy. I didn't realize he wasn't protecting me from the world. He was cataloging me. By the second month, Julian and I were officially dating, though I kept a strict boundary. He was never allowed at my apartment. I told him I had a strict no boys over rule until things were serious. In reality, a subconscious alarm bell was ringing in the back of my mind, and I chose to listen to it. Instead, our relationship existed in the public spaces of the city, libraries, museums, and high-end cafes. He was always perfectly composed, but his texts were becoming suffocating. He wanted to know my exact schedule. Did you finish your 3 p.m. meeting? Are you taking the 6:15 p.m. train or the 6:45 p.m. one? Have you had dinner yet? I imagine you in your kitchen right now, cutting vegetables. I started feeling a profound sense of claustrophobia, not just in the relationship, but inside my own home. The house, as I mentioned, was an old colonial, and like most properties of that era in the West, it was built over a crawl space. It wasn't a proper basement, just a 4-foot deep, uninsulated void of dirt, stones, and exposed pipes running beneath the entire length of my floorboards. The only entrance to it was an exterior wooden latch on the back of the house, heavily overgrown with wild hydrangeas and blackberry briars. In late October, the noises started. It always began around 2:45 a.m. I'm a light sleeper, a habit developed from listening to true crime podcasts to fall asleep. At first, it sounded like the house settling, a dull thump, then a long, agonizingly slow scrape. I sat up in bed, holding my breath. The sound was coming from directly beneath my mattress. It sounded like something heavy was dragging itself through the dirt under the floorboards. Raccoons, I whispered into the dark room. It's just a family of raccoons nesting for the winter. But raccoons are chaotic. They scurry, they fight, they make sharp, frantic noises. This sound was regular. It would move from beneath my bedroom, travel slowly along the main support beam, and stop precisely beneath the kitchen floorboards. It would stay there for an hour, completely stationary, before dragging itself back. The paranoia began to bleed into my professional life. One evening, around 7 p.m., I was finishing up a structural inventory report in our firm's underground parking garage. The garage is a massive multi-level concrete cavern beneath a 40-story glass tower. It's always freezing down there, smelling of car exhaust and damp cement. I walked toward my car, my heels echoing loudly against the concrete. I stopped. A second set of heavier, muffled footsteps behind me stopped a fraction of a second later. I spun around. "Hello?" I called out. My voice bounced off the concrete pillars. Nothing, just rows of parked cars gleaming under the flickering fluorescent tubes. But as I reached my driver's side door, I looked across the aisle. Standing behind a massive concrete support column on level P3 was a man. He was wearing a dark gray corporate jacket and a neon security lanyard around his neck. His face was entirely hidden by a low-brimmed baseball cap and a black surgical mask. He wasn't moving. He was holding a clipboard, his eyes locked onto my face. "Can I help you?" I demanded, my voice shaking. The man didn't answer. He slowly stepped backward, melting into the shadow of the exit ramp. I got into my car, locked the doors immediately, and cried the entire drive home. That night, Julian called me. I was a mess. I told him about the man in the parking garage, about my fears, about how unsafe I felt. Julian spoke through the line, his tone smooth and chillingly polite. "Oh, Elle, my poor fragile girl. You see, the world outside is chaotic, uncontrollable. That's why the architecture of a home is so important. A home is a fortress. Tell me, when you're in your bed tonight, do you feel safe?" "No," I sobbed. "I keep hearing things under the floor. I think there are animals in the crawl space." There was a long, heavy pause on the line. I could hear Julian breathing, slow, measured breaths. "You know, Elle, old colonial houses have very specific floorboard layouts. The joists are usually placed 16 inches apart. If someone or something were down there, they could hear the exact pitch of your voice through the wood. They would know exactly where your bed sits. They would know your rhythm. Sleep tight, Elle. Don't let the intruders bite." I hung up the phone. My skin felt electric with fear. He hadn't seen my house. He didn't know my layout. Why did he say that? The next morning, I bought 3 smart security cameras from an electronics store downtown. I couldn't live like this anymore. I needed proof for the property manager that there were animals under the house, so they would seal the crawl space. I set them up when I got home from work. Camera 1 was in the living room, facing the front door. Camera 2 was in the kitchen, overlooking the rear porch door. Camera 3 was in the narrow hallway, right outside my bedroom door. These cameras were motion activated and linked directly to an app on my phone. They had night vision and high-definition audio. For 3 days, nothing happened. The house was quiet. Julian texted me less frequently, which was a relief. He told me he was away on a regional analytical assignment for his firm and would be out of cell service. Then came Thursday. It was 2:15 p.m. I was sitting in a corporate board meeting at work, taking notes on a tablet. My phone, which was on silent on the table, vibrated. Notification, motion detected in living room. I ignored it at first. Probably a draft from the store moving the curtains, I thought. 3 seconds later, another buzz. Notification, motion detected in hallway. My heart plummeted into my stomach. I excused myself from the meeting, claiming I was nauseous, and ran into the empty women's restroom. I locked myself in a stall, my hands shaking so violently, I dropped my phone twice before opening the security app. I tapped on the live feed for the living room. The room was bathed in the gray afternoon light of a heavy rainstorm. Everything looked normal. The couch was empty, the TV was off. But then I saw the bookshelf. In the corner of my living room, behind a heavy oak bookshelf filled with my college textbooks, there is an old, painted-over wooden utility hatch. It was an interior access point to the crawl space, meant for plumbers to check the pipes without going outside into the mud. On the screen, the massive oak bookshelf was slowly, smoothly moving forward. It didn't tip. It was being pushed from behind with immense, controlled strength. A gap appeared between the bookshelf and the wall. Out of that dark black vertical slit, a hand emerged. It was a pale hand, the fingers long and elegant. It gripped the edge of the drywall. Then, was dressed entirely in black technical gear. He wore a dark grey jacket, a black baseball cap, and a surgical mask. And hanging from his neck, swinging gently as he stepped onto my rug, was the bright neon security lanyard from my office building. I stopped breathing. The bathroom stall around me seemed to spin. The man walked to my sofa. He didn't look around like a thief. He walked with absolute familiarity. He sat down on the exact spot where I usually sit. He reached out and picked up a grey fleece blanket I use on cold nights. He brought it to his face. He closed his eyes and he took a deep, long, shuddering breath. He stood up and walked into the kitchen. The camera feed switched automatically as he moved. He opened my refrigerator. He took out a jar of peaches, opened it with his bare hands, took one out and ate it. He let the syrup drip onto his fingers, then wiped them on his pants. He wasn't robbing me. He was occupying me. He walked into the hallway, right under camera 3. He stood directly outside my bedroom door for 3 long minutes, completely motionless, just staring at the wooden door handle. Then, slowly, he turned his head. He looked straight into the lens of my hidden security camera. He reached up, took off his baseball cap, and pulled down the surgical mask. It was Julian. His face was completely devoid of the intellectual softness I knew. His eyes were wide, bloodshot, and burning with a terrifying manic intensity. He didn't look angry that he'd been caught. He looked ecstatic. He walked up to the camera, his face filling the entire screen of my phone. He smiled, that same perfectly symmetrical, dead-eyed smile. He lifted his hand, made a shh motion with his index finger against his lips, and then pinched the power cord of the camera. The screen went blank. Status: device offline. I don't remember the drive from my office to the police station. I just remember screaming at the desk sergeant, shoving my phone into his face, showing him the downloaded clip of the man emerging from my floorboards. Within 20 minutes, I was in the back of a police cruiser, flying down the highway back to my house. 2 additional patrol cars met us there. The officers drew their weapons. They kicked my front door open. "Police, come out with your hands up." Silence. The house was empty. Julian was gone. The lead detective, a gruff man named Miller, walked over to the bookshelf. He pulled it completely away from the wall, exposing the small wooden hatch. He shone his heavy flashlight into the darkness below. "Smells like old earth down there," Miller muttered. "Hey Jenkins, grab the kit. We're going in." I stood in my kitchen, wrapped in a police blanket, trembling so hard my teeth clicked together. I could hear the muffled thuds of the 2 officers moving through the crawl space beneath my feet. After 15 minutes, Detective Miller climbed back out of the hatch. His uniform was covered in yellow clay and cobwebs. His face was deadpan, but his eyes were full of a deep, disturbing gravity. "Miss," Miller said, taking off his gloves, "you aren't staying here tonight. In fact, you're never coming back here alone. Pack a small bag of essentials right now. My officers will stand guard." "What did you find?" I whispered. Miller sighed, looking at his notepad. "The man, this Julian, didn't just break in today. He's been living down there for months. They found his nest directly beneath my bedroom, right under the spot where my bed sat. Julian had dug out a shallow trench in the dirt to make the ceiling higher. He had laid down heavy, industrial-grade acoustic plastic sheeting to completely deaden the sound of his movements. On top of the plastic was a professional Sub-Zero sleeping bag. Surrounding the sleeping bag were dozens of items I thought I had lost over the past 6 months. My missing college sweatshirt, a few pairs of socks that vanished from the communal laundry room, a silver ring my mother gave me, a hairbrush filled with my hair, but it was the framework of the floorboards that made Detective Miller call for forensics. Julian had used a micro drill to bore over 50 tiny pin-sized holes straight up through the tongue and groove hardwood floorboards of my apartment. He had placed them strategically, 3 holes directly under my bed, 2 holes under the bathroom vanity, 5 holes along the baseboard of the living room couch. From the dark of the crawl space, looking up, those holes acted as tiny peepholes. Because the apartment was bright and the crawl space was pitch black, I could never see them from above. They were hidden perfectly by the grain of the wood and the edges of my area rugs. He had been watching me. He had been listening to every breath I took, every phone call I made, every intimate private moment of my life from 4 feet below me. And the corporate lanyard, the police confirmed it. Julian had applied for a short-term subcontracting job as a night shift HVAC inspector for my office building. He didn't care about the job. He just needed a security badge so he could access the P3 parking garage. He wanted to watch me leave work every day. He wanted to ensure that if I left early, he would see my car exit the ramp, giving him exactly 40 minutes to clear out of my apartment before I arrived home. It was a perfectly synchronized, architecturally precise system of total stalking. The police ran his phone number, his Tinder profile, and his face through the database. The Tinder profile was a masterpiece of digital identity theft. The photos belonged to a minor lifestyle influencer from Europe, and the phone was a burner SIM bought at a gas station with cash. Julian didn't exist. He was a ghost with an architectural degree and an obsession with me. The police placed me in a secure, high-end hotel downtown under a protective pseudonym. The room was on the 14th floor. It was a modern concrete structure, sleek, sterile, and safe. There were security guards at the front desk and cameras in every hallway. For the first time in 6 months, I thought I could sleep. The detective told me they had put out an all-points bulletin for his arrest. They told me he had fled the area. It was 3:14 a.m. on my second night at the hotel. I was lying in the king-size bed, staring at the white ceiling, listening to a light-hearted podcast just to fill the silence. My phone screen lit up. Unknown number. I shouldn't have answered it. Every instinct screamed at me to let it go to voicemail. But the raw, sleep-deprived panic made me think it might be Detective Miller with news of an arrest. I swiped lock, pressed the phone to my ear, and said nothing. There was absolute silence on the phone line, except for the distinct rhythmic sound of crickets chirping in the distance. Outdoor woods sounds. Then a voice, smooth, intellectual, perfectly calm. You changed the blueprint, L. That's a violation of our structural integrity. My blood turned to pure ice. I couldn't scream. My jaw was locked in terror. The police are so clumsy, Julian continued. They look at the ground. They look at the dirt. They think like animals. They don't understand how buildings work. They don't understand that every structure in this country is connected by voids, hiding places, spaces between the walls designed for air, for water, for eyes. Where are you? Leave me alone. The police are coming for you, I sobbed, the tears streaming down my face. They're looking for me at your old apartment, Elle, Julian said, with a soft melodic chuckle. But I'm an analyst. I know that old colonial houses have crawl spaces, but modern commercial hotels, they have something much better. They have drop ceilings. They have utility shafts that run vertically from the basement to the roof. They have maintenance hatches above the bathrooms so the staff can fix the vents. The phone line went completely dead. I dropped the phone. I looked up at the ceiling of my 14th floor hotel room. In the corner, right above the entryway to the bathroom, there was a square plastic maintenance access panel set into the drywall. And as I watched, paralyzed in the center of the bed, the white plastic panel slowly, silently lifted upward into the darkness of the ceiling void. A hand, pale with long, slender fingers, reached out from the dark and held the edge of the frame, and through the 2-inch gap in the ceiling, a pair of wide, unblinking, bloodshot eyes stared down directly into mine. I didn't scream, I didn't pack, I just grabbed my keys and ran out of that hotel room into the night. That was 3 months ago. I didn't stay in that city. I didn't even stay in that time zone. I quit my career in real estate asset management. I couldn't stand the sight of blueprints anymore. I spent every cent of my savings to move to an ultra-modern, newly constructed high-rise concrete complex in a major metropolitan hub. I live on the 22nd floor now. The walls are solid, poured concrete. The floors are dense, reinforced cement. There are no crawl spaces. There are no attics. There are no utility shafts inside the units. The building has 24-hour armed security, biometric fingerprint scanners for the elevators, and triple-bolted steel doors. I don't date. I deleted every social media account I ever owned. I don't use Tinder. I don't take Ubers. I walk everywhere in broad daylight, surrounded by crowds of people. I should be safe here. Logically, mathematically, according to the architecture of this building, I am entirely inaccessible. But as I told you at the beginning of this story, I still have the habit. I still listen to these horror stories before bed. I'm lying here right now, in the pitch black, with my headphones tightly over my ears, typing this post on a burner tablet. The room is dead silent, but about 5 minutes ago, I felt something, not a sound, a vibration, a tiny rhythmic cyclical pulse traveling through the concrete floorboards directly into the frame of my bed, like the weight of something heavy, something breathing, shifting its position somewhere deep within the structural core of the building. I turned my head. I'm looking at the air conditioning vent high up on my concrete wall right now. The metal slats are dark, but as the moonlight hits the metal, I swear to God, I just saw a tiny sharp glint of light reflect from deep inside the duct, like the lens of a micro camera or the reflection of a wire-rimmed glass lens. If you're listening to this alone in your apartment, check your vents, look under your floors, because you never truly know who is living in the spaces between